Welcome to the Healing Circle. I'm Christine, founder of Embodied Energy Wellness, a shamanic energy practitioner and soul guide. This is a space for honest conversations about healing, awakening, and the moments that shape us. We all carry a story, and this is a place where those stories can be shared, witnessed, and gently healed, together in community. This isn't about fixing yourself, it's about remembering yourself. Take a deep breath. You're very welcome here. Before we begin, I want to gently let you know that this episode includes a personal story shared by my guest. Some themes may include trauma, grief, pregnancy, or baby loss, or sensitive life experiences. This story is shared willingly and with care, and I invite you to listen in a way that feels safe and supportive for you. As always, you're welcome to pause or step away at any time. Today, I'm joined by Laura, the artistic creator behind the Inner Wild Fire. Laura is someone who has chosen to listen to her inner voice, even when it's asked her to step completely off the expected path. In the last few years, she's navigated deep personal healing, financial rebuilding, unconventional living, and the courage to beat a bet on her creative work while preparing for a life of travel and full-time freelancing with her husband. This conversation is about choosing alignment over approval, safety over noise, and creativity over fear, especially when the world tells you you're doing it too late or doing it the wrong way. Laura's story will resonate deeply with anyone who feels called to live differently, but still carries fear, tenderness, and responsibility alongside that call. Laura, you're so welcome to join me. How are you feeling?
I love that intro. That was so good. Yeah, I'm feeling good. I'm excited. It's a really exciting time between, just I feel like I'm jumping off a cliff right now, but I'm ready for it. I feel like I have the wings I didn't have last time. So I'm excited.
Lovely. Can you bring us back to the very start of how Inner Wildfire was created?
Yeah, so I created In a Wildfire around 7 years ago. So it it came really authentically. Basically, it actually came from a wound of jealousy of a friend of mine at the time. And I was going to a tarot lady and a Reiki lady, and I was like, I feel really triggered by this person. She's doing readings, she's doing circles, and at the time I was just doing graphic design because my background is actually in graphic design. And she was like, I think that you're meant to do readings for people. And like, she was like, I see you traveling. I see you helping women all over the world. I see you being this big thing. And I was like, what are you talking about? At that point, I think I'd only done readings with friends. I hadn't done it with, as a monetary thing. So I was very like, this is the beginning, the cusp of Inner Wildfire. And after I did the Reiki session, she was like, the name is going to come to you. You're going to start a business. And then I heard the Laura Marling song called Wildfire. And in the song, she talks about father wounds. And I have a little bit of like father wounds, mother wounds. And I really related to the song. But I was like, I don't want it to be called Wildfire, though. It has to be something a little bit more unique. And then Inner Wildfire came to me with basically the idea being that you have this inner flame, this inner spark, this inner creativity. Because for me, I've always taught things in a way that's like, it's more soft spoken over it being like this confident lioness. I've always been quietly, I speak through my art, I speak through my decks over, having this loud voice. So Inner Wildfire is really just about my experience and my voice, but also about people finding their own Inner Wildfire as well. So that's basically like what the idea was behind the business.
Lovely. And you started that about 7 years ago?
About 7 years ago, yeah. Like I was so I'm 34 now, so it would have been like 28, around 28. So I had two businesses before that were like around graphic design, basically. And then Inner Wildfire, I just never looked back as soon as Inner Wildfire came.
Oh, fab. And, it's kind of scary and, you're fighting through a lot of fears when you're starting your own business. And like at this stage now, it's the third time. So, like,
Yeah.
would you agree when I say every time when you're starting to boldly step forward to shine and to spread your wisdom and your gifts out to the world? Can you talk to me a little bit about the fears around that?
Yeah, so I grew up like where the way my parents were, they were very like hustle mindset. They both freelance, so I was always around the freelancing type of, I have it in my genes, I have it in my blood.
Yeah.
I can make money, but it's very like you make lots of money and then bills come in unexpectedly. It's like I've learned so much about money mindset and stuff like that, and I came to the realization that like from my childhood, from the hustle and bustle and the struggle, my financial thermometer was zero. I wasn't comfortable with receiving, especially spiritual money for your spiritual gifts. That's something I've had to continuously break through blocks. But for me with the business, I always knew I wanted to be a freelancer. Like I'm not made to do a 9 to 5 job.
Yeah.
I actually have never had a 9 to 5 job. I've only ever done part-time jobs. I've always had side hustles. I just have that kind of go-getter energy. Like even if I have no money in the bank, I will still be like, I'm gonna start a business. Like in a
Yeah.
wildfire, from what I remember, I quit my part-time job and I think I had like 1,000 in the bank and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna start a business. It's happening. Let's do it. And it's not too far off like where I would be at now. Like I probably only have like a month, 2 months savings. And I'm still like, yeah, let's do it. Let's go. Life's too short.
But I can relate to that because I started my two businesses with no money.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, let's do this. Like, when you think about it, I don't think normal people do that.
No. You definitely have to be a little bit crazy, don't you? To
Yeah,
like,
I think so too. But when you hear that calling, I feel like when you feel that you can give more, and like when we're in that spiritual realm, that spiritual like creative energy, we're just helping others. It's ultimately what we want to do is help others.
yeah. Like if I won the lottery tomorrow, I would still do the work that I do. Nothing would change because it's soul-led
Same.
work, and that's beautiful, isn't it, to know that?
Yeah. No, absolutely. Like even like we're recording this the 3rd of January today and everyone's waiting to go back on the 5th of January and I'm like, oh no,
Yeah.
this doesn't work though. This is like I can't wait to get into the office and like, yes, now let's go.
I'm like that
You
too.
know? Yeah. Like but then that's to our detriment as well sometimes when we give too much of ourselves and
Yeah.
know when to pull back.
Yeah. Like I don't know about you, but I definitely struggle to step back from work. Like I always have work on my mind. And I think that's maybe there's a line between passion and work, and sometimes it can get overcrossed and overlinked. We just want to give so much to like our customers as well. So it's definitely difficult to step back and relax and I'm hoping that's what the travel brings in a bit more of the relaxing as well, the relaxing element of it.
Yeah, because like it's kind of reminding ourselves to constantly go back into the feminine energy, isn't it really? Because the masculine energy is about the push and the motivation, the structure of the business and the go-getting energy. And then it's the feminine is like, well, I need to step back into the intuition, the creativity. And that's where your artwork shines through, isn't it really? When you're going into your feminine energy. Can you speak to me about your artwork? Because your artwork is absolutely
Oh,
fabulous.
thank you. So the Talk Tea deck, I created that I like to say it was over about 9 months, like the birth of a project. But it was probably longer because I think the first 2 or 3 cards I did over 3 or 4 months. It took me so long to get started on the idea. But then, like, I probably have ADHD, like it's
Mhm.
semi-confirmed. But as well as that, I would be a manifesting generator in the human designs aspect. So like once I'm passionate about something, it's like I hyper focus into it. So
Yeah.
the artwork wise, I wouldn't draw every day. I would kind of like get an idea, and then it will get to a point where the idea is so strong in my head that it's like jumping into a sea of
Yeah.
creativity in that sense. Like I get lost in it a little bit. I get hyper focused. Like I lock myself in a room for like months on end. Usually what I'll do is I'll save enough money to kind of cover me while I create, because I can't really, when I'm making a deck, especially, I can't really have distractions and lots of hustles. So I think that's probably what like next year or this year actually, because it's 2026. I think that's what this year is going to be about, is like I saved enough for the traveling to be able to kind of deep dive and create. I'm going to actually be creating a traditional tarot deck. I'm really excited about that. So I'm excited to kind of jump back into that sea of
Yeah.
creativity.
Oh, it sounds beautiful. Just it, remember you mentioned that you came out first with the Inner Wildfire 7 years
Yeah.
ago, and then that went on for 2 years. What happened at that point that you felt you had to retreat back?
Oh, it was so much struggle. I think so I think I had one main graphic design client. He paid really well, but there was wounds with the father stuff, with the masculine with him, and it was very triggering for me. Now I
Yeah.
was able to create the deck, but pretty much like all of the money I made from pre-orders, this was like way before the Kickstarters and stuff like that. They all just covered expenses. And then I did the show in the RDS as well, and that basically just covered. So from the outside, I was doing really well, but
Yeah.
I wasn't covering my rent. I wasn't covering my bills. Me, myself, and my now husband, we just got married there 2 days ago. It's been a busy week.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Officially, we nearly broke up. So like we basically, when we got back, this was kind of, I think, the point where I was like, things need to change. I need to go get a part-time job again. He basically said to me, like, I can't do this anymore. I need you to make a decision. Like, are you going to go get part-time work, take a step back? I was just like, I wasn't nice to be around at that time. I was under a lot of pressure. There was a lot of debt. So I did the child minding for 2 years, pretty much like full on. I minded probably like 6 or 7 different kids, and it was so intense, but
So
so beautiful. I've learned so much about myself, but I won't lie, the whole 2 years I was looking at the clock. Time
yeah,
was just going
slipping
by.
away.
Yeah.
That's interesting because, like, my first business was special effects makeup, face
Yeah.
effects, and I loved it. It was like creativity. My artwork was in the special effects. I worked in films. I still had a special effects makeup distribution company, and I supplied 80% of Ireland with their in colleges with their makeup kits. And like on the outside, I looked like I was reaching like top success, I was like doing RDS shows and I was like doing demos and I was bringing in famous makeup artists in
Oh,
to
wow.
teach normal makeup artists their tricks and their trades. But internally, oh my God, the father wound, the mother wound, um, my husband, we were actually, we were just boyfriend and girlfriend at the time. I had children were coming out of the woodwork. Like there was like, I was pregnant within like 2 years of like the last three. It was absolutely the most chaotic time for me. But my dad also died in the middle of it as well. So
Oh,
that then brought up all my wounds and hit me in
yeah.
the face. I couldn't sleep, the stress, insomnia, panic attacks. I remember I was going to like being assessed for mental health as well, like at that time. But on the outside, nobody knew.
Yeah.
They just said, "Oh, look, there's Christine. She's like CEO of her job. She's like doing amazing." But rattling, and it
Yeah.
had to be my health that stepped in. Like I nearly died in the birth of my fourth child.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
before I'd listened. So the joke on me with my guides is they always have to do something drastic for me to flip.
Yeah. Similar to me.
It's like, oh, jeez, it's like, but it is. I think our guides have to come in, like, when they see that we're actually not stepping on our true path,
Yeah.
and what we're doing is actually to our detriment with our health, um, they have to step in.
Yeah.
And it is something traumatic to us that makes us stop and go, okay, I can't live like this anymore.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree with that. Like it's the same with me. The cabin has been like so like basically I've been living in a shed for 2 years, basically a shed. The roof leaks. We have bin bags on the roof to like stop it from leaking. The walls are like when it's windy, the walls shake. The floor is like curved. Now we paid off the wedding. We paid off a lot of debt. I'm grateful for that, but it's triggered so many wounds. Like I have like complex PTSD from like my childhood, from moving around a lot and the money issues and stuff like that. So in a weird kind of way, I think it triggered this reality that if I don't make a change and I don't work on myself and I don't follow my purpose, then this is my life. Like this is what I
Yeah.
get. So for me, I was like, we
Yeah.
need to travel. Let's do it. Let's travel. We
I
need
can
to.
totally relate to that as well because, like, we moved back up from Wicklow to a house that was built in 1970s. Now, we had all these grand plans, but
Yeah.
when I left, I sold my business because I literally was like, it's either me or the business. On my family. So I had to say, right, business has to go. And it actually turned out I sold the business in the end. That was my dad looking down from
Oh,
above, and which paid for my wedding, which was perfect, right?
yeah.
But the the fear of money was coming in big time for me. And we moved from Wicklow back up to home. 'Cause all I needed to, I knew I had to come back to home, to the land where it's funny that full moon healing circle on Killiney Beach.
I
You
know.
know,
It's so
it's
beautiful.
literally on my doorstep, but I knew I had to come back home. And I manifested the house that we lived in, right? But at the time, I was still working part time with a university
Okay.
while I was running my business. So it was complete burnout. And luckily enough, I was able to go back full time to the university and I was working there, but it was just so destroying. And when I had to make that decision to start a new business, because I was like, no, this is what I really want to do. I had to leave the university, but then suddenly plunged myself back into the fear of money.
Yeah.
And like they weren't giving me the part-time option. So I was like, okay, I'll just take a career break. And I
Yeah.
went in a career break and I think I went into freeze mode for the first year and a half. I just went into freeze mode. And like my husband was like, what the hell are you doing? You said you can do this. And I'm
You're
like,
just like, I can't.
yes. Like I don't know what I'm doing. But like our house when we bought it, it was 1970s. It was in bits. And our plan was, yeah, grand, we'll do it up. We've two very secure jobs. And then what do? Leave my full-time pensionable job. Like, and then it's like, right, when we do in the house, oh, I'm not killing that penny. So we've been living in the house in the last 8 years. Like, I can't even describe to you. Now, I know I'm lucky in a sense where it's a house and it's not a shed.
No, but
It's a
you
situation.
still get the same issues in like houses. It can still be very similar to what we've had.
Yeah.
100.
But it's a thing where me and my husband have butted heads because we're not happy in the house in terms of the way it is. Like,
Yeah.
I'd feel really embarrassed if he said, Laura, come in for a cup of tea. I'd be like, oh, that's going to see. Like, the tiles on the kitchen are like still from 1970. The back garden's in bits. Like, I would still be feeling I can't buy her in, but
I get that
she would
though.
feel
Yeah.
rude.
Yeah, I totally like even with Instagram, I have my I have my cute corner, and then I use
Yeah.
like my sister's room to do all the reels.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
nobody
Like,
would see what the cabin is that we sleep in. Like nobody's seen it. It's very like
well, if
it's
you notice, you've never seen the inside of my house on my,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, I get it.
no? Yeah. But I'm like, I think though, when we follow our purpose and our paths, like I really do feel it just opens up, when we work through the fears. But but there's like a process.
Yeah.
You know, it like our like the universe isn't going to say, okay, here's everything on the platter. You've decided to step on your path, but it's like, no, hold on, the curveballs have to be thrown in to
Yeah.
say, well, you need to break down each fear in order for you to reach the ultimate goal and be successful.
Yeah, like, and isn't that beautiful that this is the one thing I think I'm so grateful for with freelancing over a typical job is the fact that you like push through so many blocks. I think that's so beautiful. And also income wise, there's no limit to the amount of money and the amount of change you can create being a freelancer over working a typical 9 to 5 job. That's enough for me to be like, I want to do that over working.
I'm just saying, it's like, you know, we're like this blossoming flower.
Yeah.
And it's the way, like, when we're creative, like, the expansion and the possibilities of what we can do, like, we're actually very powerful, aren't we?
Yeah, it's amazing. It's so cool.
But I think the trick is that we need to have freedom in order for that expansion.
It's like the fear has to come with the expansion, you know? And I think a lot of people wait for that green light. They wait for it. They're like, well, I didn't get a green light. I don't feel not
Yeah.
scared. And I'm like, that is exactly the mistake you're making. You're going to be terrified. You're going to feel like, I feel like I'm jumping off a cliff, but I've done it a few times. This is my fourth or fifth time jumping off that cliff. I know I'm going to be okay this time because I've done it. I know I'm not meant to.
That's the thing. But that's the thing. I think that's where our growth is
Yeah.
when the fear disappears and it's like maybe another level down the road. But like that bump in the road that block that you're experiencing, when you push through that, next time when the old feelings come up again when you're about to jump off the edge of the cliff, it's like, oh no, it's grand. I have it.
Yeah.
It's so cool.
You're like, hello, old cliff.
So tell me, like, you know, where are you, like, right now at this moment in time, you've mentioned travel. So
Yeah.
where are we going with the travel? Explain to me, like, where's the expansion for you now?
So the plan initially was to travel fully for a year, but there's been a few blocks, but we've kind of taken it in our stride. We're like, okay, this is just part of the process. There's always going to be roadblocks. So basically, I'm an English citizen that's applying for Irish citizenship. Like I've lived in Ireland for like 17 years. Ireland is my home. It's always going to be my
Well, you definitely look the Irish with the red hair.
home.
With the white.
I'm like, I love Irish. Just give me citizenship already. But so basically, I can't travel for longer than 3 months in Europe over a 6 month period. So the plan is to do Spain, Portugal, and then I think France for January, February, March. I'm gonna paint while we're traveling and I'm gonna like create all my wonderful things while we're away. And then we're gonna come back in April, May, June, stay up, I think somewhere in Kildare, and then we're gonna travel to Canada, America, and then around Europe again. So basically we're gonna do the nomad lifestyle. And I think, yeah.
That sounds so cool.
I'm really excited. And it's funny because if you would have said to me 3 years ago, oh, you're going to travel and live out of a backpack, I would have been like, hell no, I'm a homebird. I want to stay in Ireland. I want to have my stuff. I want to be, because I always had this thing where I was like, how am I going to travel and be an artist? Like, how am I going to bring my paints and stuff? But it's funny because as soon as I made that decision to go, there's so many workarounds with that stuff. It's really cool. Really.
100%. Yeah. It is about like listening to that calling and yes, like I think us as humans, we complicate our lives so much. And we
Yeah.
actually put our own blocks in front of ourselves. But when we just say, right, actually from the soul, the heart is saying, I need to go traveling, I need to create while I'm traveling. I
Yeah.
think things just start falling into place.
It's weird, yeah. Since I made the decision and I left my child mining jobs, things have been so smooth. And up until that point, they were so chaotic.
Yeah, well, come on, you're reminding many kids, like, of course they're going to be chaotic.
I was like the Mary Poppins of Manoof, honestly.
Oh my God, I'd say so.
I loved it.
Um,
Like it was eating me alive. The job was eating me,
yeah,
you know.
yeah. No, you can't. Yeah, that'd be a lot.
I don't know how you do it. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how mums
Oh,
do it. They're super women.
well, it's, you know what? It's called multitasking. I
Yeah.
think we are the queen of multitaskers, but I do think it's so important to create that balance within ourselves by doing things around self love and giving back to ourselves and know when to say no and have healthy boundaries. Do you know what I mean? And, like,
Yeah.
that's why you'll always see me either in the sea or up on a hill in a forest every day at least, because I need that grounding. I need that rebalance in myself to then say, right, mommy is now perfect. I can go back
Yeah.
out into the world and give again. But I think a lot of women, they kind of don't understand that connection to Mother Earth and how she can really help us.
Yeah, we tend to kind of go over into the masculine a little bit too much, I
Yeah.
think, and like feel like we
Yes.
have to be the ones to hold everything, you
Yeah.
know.
Where I'm
But
like,
yeah, I'd be
yeah,
like
no.
you. I love being out in nature. I feel the most connected to my guides when I'm in nature. I always have, you know. It's
Yeah,
beautiful.
same here. I'm like, this is like the best thing. Like, um, and just in terms of looking back over, your growth, your expansion, the fears, everything. Would you recommend it to any of our listeners who are feeling that call to do something different for you, especially for 2026? Like, what would you advise them?
That's a good question. I think it's like if they feel that fear and if they're feeling the pull, but they're feeling the fear, try and like look at that fear and put it down on paper. And because this is really what got me going, like when I first made the business before this time, I like kind of wrote down all of the reasons I couldn't do it. And then I wrote down where are they coming from me or where are they coming from other people? Because 90% of the time,
Yes.
it's your family, your friends, those closest to you that don't want you to change. It's nothing to do with your own perception. And then I would say, like, think about what they need to take that leap. Do they need the 3 months rent a bills? Do they need the home? Do they need the more of the business set up? The only thing is just don't fall into the trap of I can't do this until I have this equipment or this space or
That'll never
I
happen.
did. I fell into that trap. I stopped doing card readings, I think, for the whole time we had a house and I had a studio and I didn't do card readings because I was like, I don't have enough privacy. And then I ended up living in a shed and I did more card reading with no privacy. So just don't fall into the trap of like, I can't do this because of XYZ as well. Like, have a look at the fear, take the fear, bring it down into a little pebble, and then realize that a lot of it is coming from external over your own knowing and your own beliefs. That's what I would kind of say around taking that plunge.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that because I had what my friends group think of me stepping really into the spiritual side of myself because they didn't know that side. Apart from years ago with tarot cards at sessions, like which probably
Yeah.
wasn't the best space to be doing reading. But I was always speaking about spiritual worlds to everyone that would listen. But I would never fully step into it. And it was like that, the fear of what my friends would think. And I knew certain groups would let me go. Like I would naturally,
Yeah.
they would vibrate out of my life. And I was that grieving process around that because you're actually stripping away the version that you thought you were.
Yeah. It's tough, isn't it? There's definitely a lot
Yeah,
of grieving that comes. Yeah.
100%. And then it's like, but then we're being taught then is to just let go of other people's perception of ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
One thing I always heard is like, it's none of your business what that other person thinks.
And usually it's their own like pain and their own limitations that's coming. It's usually mirroring what your own fears are, you know. It's
Yeah,
mirroring that other bit.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But it
think the
is,
biggest one, like, I probably struggled with was because I'm like 34, going on 35, was this perception that I thought by now I would be a parent and I would be a mother and I would have the home and I would have like the safety net. And I think over the past 2 weeks, I've really grieved the fact that it's not meant to happen right now. I'm meant to follow this career Laura instead currently. And do feel like a lot of the listeners are probably also struggling with that because it's an ingrained thing as a woman.
yes.
You're here to create life. But can you create other things as well as life? Can you
Well,
create,
that's exactly it.
yeah, maybe I'm just not meant to create life right now. Maybe I'm meant to create other things instead, you know?
Yeah. But like, that's not to say it's not down the road. It's not for you down the road.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly. Yeah,
Yeah. I think a lot of people have to let go of what society's expectation places on us,
definitely. Yeah.
you know, and also even family and friends, their perception of us and how we're supposed to live our lives, you know.
Yeah.
Um, it is about giving us ourselves that gift of freedom.
Yeah. And it's honestly the best gift like you can give yourself is the key to like there's your freedom. Do whatever you want to do. Life's too short at the end of the day to be
That's really here for a
living a
short time.
life. Yeah. As soon as you have to put that mask on, that's how you know it's not right?
Yeah, it's funny because like I have a lot of clients that do one-to-ones and they're like, I have to do this, I have to have a child, I have to, and I'm like, well, hold on. What if I told you you're going to be here like thousands and thousands of times on this earth, thousands of lifetimes? Do you want to do it all in one lifetime, or are you going to just let go of the need of controlling and say, do you know what, this might not be in this lifetime, but it might be happening in the next lifetime. But at the
Yeah.
moment, I'm here. I'm here to go with the flow.
I like that. I've never really looked at it that way. That's a lovely way to look at it. Like you don't just
Yeah.
have one lifetime, you have multiple lifetimes to
Yeah, and I'm like, yeah, but maybe you've come down to experience a life with no children, and then in the next life you'll have about ten of them, and you'll be like, oh, you're also doing it to yourself, But like, it's that fear. Our human mind wants to control and have a plan, but our soul is like freedom, flow, release. Just we're like our energy is infinite, and so when we think our human mind's thinking we have short time, you know what I mean? Where
yeah.
our soul is like, but we're here for thousands of lifetimes. Why do we
Yeah.
need to rush everything and squeeze everything into one lifetime?
Exactly. And like it should be looked at as well. Like as women, we can be brought here for multiple things other than kids. And also you can make if you go from the saying of like, well, I want to, pass down generations wisdom and the things I've learned, can you not pass them down into other things like the oracle decks or the journals
Yeah,
or the courses? Like a lot of the work you do, you're impacting and changing lives of so many people, and that's not through your kids, that's through your work.
no,
It
yeah,
should be seen as the same thing.
yeah, exactly. And that's it. Like, I've a lot of women that come to me and they're like, I don't want kids, but yeah, I still feel guilty because everyone's
Yeah.
telling me. And I'm like, but maybe you've come down to experience life without no kids, but like, what do you love to do? What brings you joy? And ultimately, 9 times out of 10, it's writing, it's journaling, it's creativity, and I'm going, well, there you go. It's like, there you go. And they're like, oh, I never thought it that way,
Yeah.
but I think it's wonderful when you have that mindset of, I can do anything, but it doesn't necessarily have to be in this lifetime, but I'll just go with what shows up in this lifetime.
Yeah, there's definitely like I think I've had a lot of blocks with it, but being around, it's funny because I saw how my life could go with kids over the past few
Yeah,
years. I was lucky enough to get that view, and all of the women said the same thing to me when I told them I was going traveling. They were like, "You will never regret doing that for yourself." And they were like, if
yeah,
you're going to have kids, it will happen at the right time. And that's coming from mums. That's coming from people that
yeah,
have kids, that have what I perceived that I wanted?
yeah, because they could be looking at you going, shit, I felt I I had no choice, but this is my health.
Yeah, and the thing is, they'll never say that. That they'd never say that because they wouldn't want their kids to feel like they never appreciated them. I think it's like there's this unspokenness with women.
Oh,
Like,
100%.
yeah,
It's like me, like, I was pregnant at 19 and I love traveling. And I was pregnant at 19, so that kind of grounded me. But like, I'm like, yeah, I'm not meant to go traveling in the first parts of my life, but
yeah,
come here. Like, when these kids have finished school, I'm gone. Like, I'm giving
yeah,
them the key and saying, Mommy's gone around the world. Or you can come with me and meet me here, meet me there, but Mom's gone off traveling. So like, what's to say we can't do it later on in life? You know?
exactly, yeah. And I'm doing it where like I'll probably have kids later on in life, so I'll have done the
Yeah.
traveling. And I'll have
But we're
done,
doing the other way.
yeah, and I think it's sad because there is this divide usually between like, I don't want to have kids, I've had kids. Why can't there be like this thing in the middle where we realize that we can learn from each other, instead of it being a divide or
Yeah.
you against you type of thing?
But that's kind of toxic feminine energy, isn't it? Coming in though, but it's always
Yeah.
there is we can be very manipulating and very jealous, and we can be absolute bitches to each other.
I know, women are the worst.
Like, we're so bad, and I've seen it firsthand, and that's probably why I hung around with a lot of men when I was
Yeah.
boys when I was younger. Like, I moved away from all the groups of girls and hung around with lads for years because I just couldn't handle the business.
Yeah.
You know?
I was the same, yeah. I had a lot of guy friends, and then as I've gotten older, I have kind of both. I've healed both
Yeah,
sides.
yeah, me too. I'm the same. I can go between the two. I've kind of more gone into feminine energy a little
Yeah,
more.
same.
I myself now are more in the feminine energy. I'm not in survival mode that I was when I needed the boys around me for protection. Do you know that sort of way?
Yeah.
It's funny how we do that, isn't it?
There's a lot of similarities. I love that. No wonder I kind of felt the pull to talk to you.
Yeah. No, I know. Yeah, it's gas. Oh, look, Laura, any last words of wisdom from you before we finish up our podcast today?
I think just regardless of what any of the listeners, what stage of their journey they're at, just try and always find that voice that's yours because like we talked about, you can have kids, you can not have kids, you can have a career, you can not have a career. It's so different for everybody. So I think just try and find what you want. And that voice is so small sometimes. Go out in nature, ask what you want to do, ask what your heart wants, and follow that. That would be my last word.
Absolutely. Oh, Laura, look, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom. We all wish you the very best on your travels, and I am so excited. I'll be watching it now on Instagram to see where you're landing, how you're going. But yeah, we wish you all the best on your travels. Thank you so much. It has been an absolute honor to hold space for you today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being part of the Healing Circle today. If something in this conversation touched you, let it land gently. You don't need to rush to understand it. Your body already knows. Remember, your story matters, and when it's shared in the right space, it has the power to heal, not just you, but others too. If you feel called to explore this work more deeply, you'll find links to my sessions, retreats, and offerings through Embodied Energy Wellness in the show notes. Until we meet again, go gently, stay connected, and trust the wisdom within you. Thank you for being here.